Hi past traders, it's Stuart here again on Monday the 19th of May. Following on from my weekly outlook video, I'm just going to go through a quick rundown of the three pairs that I'm really focusing on this week, which is the pound dollar, the Aussie dollar and the Kiwi dollar. So starting with the pound dollar, as I showed in the weekly outlook video, we had this triangle here on the monthly chart, and as I explained in that video, I am looking to trade a retest down back to this trend line, and the reasons behind that are the main reason for it is this monthly resistance level here. So going down to the weekly chart, we can see in the weekly chart a lot clearer this nice preceding trend that we've got. It's much cleaner than the euro dollar. And then the week before last we had this pin bar, which just tested this monthly resistance level, or barely tested it. We've got here a weekly trend line, so that is going to be something that we're going to need to overcome moving forward, and some more weekly resistance kicking in around this level 163 there or thereabouts. It's going to be more of a zone, I would imagine, here than a specific level itself. But so there is some obstacles in our path to trade south, but I believe from this weekly pin bar, the preceding trend, it is a good opportunity to look for a short. So we will save this template as a higher time frame. And then move on to the lower time frames to have a look. So let's load up the higher time frame chart, and we'll go into the daily first of all. So the daily chart here, we had this rising trend line from down there, which we've broken through here, and we came up to retest on Friday. So I think there's an immediate shorting opportunity here. Moving down to the 4-hour chart, you can see it a bit. You can see this retest a bit cleaner on the 4-hour chart. And actually, if we go down to the 1-hour chart, you will see that not only did we have a retest of the daily trend line, but there was also a nice 1-hour trend line that went up through here. And I actually took a short this morning on this candle here. So I shorted roughly 168.16. My stop loss took me to 168.4, which is about 27 pips. The hour after that we got a bullish candle, but since then we've had a nice bearish engulfing candle again, and prices being indecisive at the moment. So I'm in this trade, and I will be looking to tighten up my risk and move my stop down to break even, hopefully within the next few hours. So that is the pound dollar, and as I say, I'm in that trade short now. Moving on to the Aussie dollar. Let me just get rid of these. Okay, please ignore these lines here. This is a different strategy that I've been trading. zoom out on the monthly chart, delete that line there, we have this descending trend line here, and we also have this rising trend line coming up here. We've got monthly support, clear support, this bounce here at this level, and there was monthly resistance at this level up here. Going down to the weekly chart, you can see that we have a descending trend line here, and we can connect bottoms as well, and doing that provides, or I feel it provides, a nice target to work towards. So you can see there that from current levels, that's about 850 pips, which is not bad. There is obviously that monthly support level here, which is around 580 pips, and if we get down to that level, well, we will then review where we are with it. So there's probably a weekly level of support in here that I can see as well, so that's something else to bear in mind. However, let's save this template. There's higher time frames for the Aussie dollar. Move down to the lower time frames and we'll apply that template. And we'll go to the daily chart. So on the daily chart, we can see a nice move down here, bounce off this bottom line here, so it's a second touch, moved up here, provided us with a second touch there and a third touch there. So this trend line here, has been proven now 3 times. We also have a daily rising trend line. The way I like to draw the trend lines is just the most touches, so I think that is probably quite a good place to draw it. We had a spike through there, but it's a spike. It was also at significant daily support, marked by the green dashed line. And so if this daily trend line breaks, then the way I see it, the way I trade, I can see that there's an opportunity for us to go down and maybe retest this lower weekly trend line here. On to the 4-hour chart, you can see that we're really approaching that quite quickly now. Zooming in a little bit, there's also a trend line. I mean, we can probably take it from here. Four-hour trend line running up through here, which crosses the daily trend line nicely. So this area here, I think, is probably a really nice place to start looking for shorts. I mean, we can go down to the 1 hour as well, and on the 1 hour you can actually see that we're sitting on an hourly trend line. So this could be developing right now, and in fact, if I do see this trend line break, I might take a risk and preempt a move through the daily and the 4 hour, with the hope that by the time it reaches these levels I can be at break even. So I'm going to keep my eye on this over the next 10-15 minutes and see what happens. That's the Aussie. Moving on to the Kiwi. This is the monthly chart highlighted, or it was the weekly chart that was highlighted in Nigel's report. But the monthly, big level of resistance up there on the monthly chart. We've got monthly trend line moving up here. Don't like that. I like this trend line better. Just seems as if it's been respected more. So that's the one I'm going to use. Connect the tops up here as well. Okay, so we've got a bit of a triangle going on here, and you know, even if all we do is go down and retouch this trend line down here, then you're still looking at 730 pips, which, believe me, is a nice trade. Checking the weekly chart. This is what Nigel showed us in his report, was, you know, focusing on this big bearish pin bar here. And then we've got an inside pin bar last week. So I think there's some nice opportunities here. We've got this level of weekly support to get through. But you know, if we get a trade in over the next few days, we'll be at break even definitely before we even attempt to break through this level of support. So it's not a huge concern for me at the moment. So let's save this template. And then load it up on the lower time frames. And we'll go to the daily chart. So you can see here on the daily, we have these bottoms here that we can have a look at. We've also got, you know, what looked like a kind of widening channel there, and we failed to move up to that in this last bullish attempt. So that could, you know, this monthly trend line, although this is the first touch, so it's not really significant yet, but this monthly resistance is significant, and that explains why we haven't gone back up and retested this line here. So on the daily chart, a move down from current levels to there is about 120 pips, so we would need to see some bearish momentum to get through this, but we would, if we can take a trade in the next day or so on a break, then we'll be at break even before we get there. Down to the 4-hour chart. The trend line that Nigel had in his report was from this low here, and I'm pretty sure that's how he had it, which looks good to me. There's also a trend line, a shallower trend line that runs through the bottoms here. So I actually took a trade on this last night, just when the market opened. Wasn't particularly great trade. Market opened here on this candle, and because of this bearish candle, I actually I thought I was maybe getting in at a good price. However, I was stopped out on that at a loss. It's been mildly bullish this morning, so I think now I'm going to wait for a break rather than the trend line Nigel had there. I'm going to wait for a break of this lower trend line before I consider taking a short. I mean, we've got what is potentially an hourly trend line here that we could consider trading, and if that breaks, then it's not a great deal of room to get to break even before this lower trend line. So yeah, I think a break of this is what is needed before I will trade the Kiwi short. That's my roundup at the moment. Let's have a quick look and see what the Aussie dollar's doing. Still sitting where it was. Pound dollar is hasn't really moved either. So hope you've enjoyed this, guys. I hope it's helpful, and we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks.